Okay, it is Sunday, September 13th, and we are finally shooting some paint. Now, I have not sanded the parts that are going to be black. All I sanded was what I had to get some silver shot, and then after that's done and cured, we will take all the tape off and start sanding that. Not today, of course, but I just want to, all I've done so far is just a very thin tack coat, so it's not even covered. I see a little something right here I'm not liking. I may have to go back and sand that. Yeah, that's going to show right there. So yeah, so I guess, and you've got you have several hours before you have to spray the second coat. But yeah, I'm going to get me some sandpaper and take care of that. I better look at everything. Got a little bit of splatter there. Hopefully, when I go to covering, trying to cut down on the dust. Got the floor hose down. Had to run the dog out of here. I'm trying to keep her locked in the house while I'm spraying. Matter of fact, just as I started making this video, I let her out with me and she comes rushing in. But yeah, I see one spot right here, because those, I'm not going to risk it. Maybe I could get lucky. Can't believe I didn't see that when I sanded. Maybe I can get lucky and spray it heavier, but I'm not going to chance it. I'll just scuff it down and touch over it. And you can see Angel peeking. It's just driving her nuts. Any other time she don't want to come in here. But when you try to do something like this, when she knows you don't want her in here, she's got to be in here. Anyway, I'm going to scuff that up and spray my second coat. There's 4 coats of base. I'm not wearing my respirator right now, but I'm not getting a lot of overspray, so that's a good thing. The fans are sucking it out pretty good. I need to redo this, but I wasn't really prepared as much as I thought I was to get ready to spray. I need to make some boards so I can set my fan up like this, and I have another fan at my dog entrance door. It serves 2 purposes. It pulls that little bit more overspray out on that side when I'm painting over here, and it keeps the dog from trying to get in, which right now she's in the house. But the 4 coats of base coat turned out good, and I don't know if I've talked about this yet, but this is the first time I've used a good quality and really kind of an expensive paint, even though I found it on eBay. Who knows how old it is, but it does work. I got PPG Deltron DBC. It's a bright silver metallic, and the reducer I'm using is a DT870. You mix it 1:1, no hardener in the base, and I'm going to use some Deltron DC3000 clear along with the DCH3085 hardener. It's a mild temperature. It rates from 65 to I think 85 degrees. Now I had some DC4000 clear I bought a long time ago, back when I bought this paint, and I also bought my black, which is not even a DCB. I'll show you that when I spray it, which won't be today for sure. But I had DCH I think 3090 with the DC3000 cleared, and that is for 95 degrees and up. Not this, but the 3090. I think it was 3090. And 95 degrees, I guess I could crank up the furnace and get it to 95 in here, but honestly, I don't want to. I may try to use it for something, see how it works. For something small maybe. But I might try to resell that DC4000 and the high temperature hardener. Who shoots in 95 degrees? I'd either wait for good weather or put air conditioning in my garage. But anyway, that's 4 coats of clear. It covered good. And the spot that I told you I had to sand and fix turned out good. Something else, as you can see, I got a little bit of dust right there. It's best not to mess with it, which I am doing right now. There we go. And it's already dry enough to touch. A little bit of a scratch right there. Most of them that I sanded out got out. Now, tape striping is going to go right about here. And here's how forgiving it is. You can see a little bit right there. I don't know how it's going to look after I put clear on it. But I actually bumped up against it just like so while I was painting this. And I said all kinds of cuss words because it left a little print from my sweatpants. But I just calmed down, left it alone, let it dry for about half hour, painted everything else. And I went back over it with a light coat, waited, then went back over it a little heavier, and the stuff is pretty forgiving on stuff like that. And something else it's more forgiving on than cheaper clear coats or base coats that I've shot, especially with metallics. You might see a little bit in here. Now in here you can't really sand it that good, and what you can see, well, you can see a little bit right there. See right there where that piece is welded there. You can't really get in there and get your rough part of your primer out. And base coat tends to do that crystallized look. I'll just have to live with that. It's going to be underneath the fuel lid door. I think once I get the clear on it, it'll look even better though. But I don't see any runs. Very small amounts of dirt, considering this is a garage. And a dog sleeps in here all day long. She stays on that cool floor. But yesterday I pressure washed all the walls, ceilings, and all. And I don't paint a lot of cars, but I do need to do some things to make this garage a little more easier and quicker to prepare for painting, like getting all the junk off the walls and moving out in the storage shed, keeping cans of stuff in boxes or in enclosed cabinets, because you can't really hose all that off, and I wasn't going to clear all that out. I was up. I sanded until probably about 5 yesterday, and then I was up till almost midnight taping and covering, which after I sanded, I had hosed the whole garage out. Then I had to wait for it to somewhat dry, and I taped and sanded, or taped and covered till midnight. So yeah, a lot of times you think you're ready and you're not. There's a lot of preparation you need to think about. And something else I'm going to do, I'm going to make it more convenient for me to set up fans. Because I wouldn't mind painting more vehicles. Just thought some tape was coming undone, but it's not. But, and one other thing, this stuff covers good. I don't know if I mentioned that or not. It used to be I need at least 5, maybe 6 coats of clear. With the cheaper brand I used to use, it was Napa brand, which I thought was good. This stuff here, 4 coats. And there's a few places where I sanded on the corners and broke through primer. It covered it good. So I'm going to quit blabbing. I get kind of excited when I paint, but I'm going to mix up some clear. In the clear, let's see, all you got is your hardener and your clear. I don't think you put a thinner in it. It sounds pretty thin. So it's 4 parts clear, 1 part hardener. I need to find something to measure that with. Looks like I'm going to have to buy some new measuring cups. I'm using them all out of the kitchen. As you can see, I use measuring cups for my primer. We don't want to take that back to the kitchen. So, let me mix and spray some clear. Okay, later the same day, not too late, around 3:30 I think, 3 or 3:30. And there it is. I would like to have shot that clear a little wetter and smoother. You can touch it right now, but it is not hard, so you'd be surprised what a day of curing will do for that. As you can see, it looks dry when that light shines on it just right, or maybe just wrong. But I would like for the whole thing to look like them corners. See how nice and shiny that is. But like I said, I do my painting in a garage, not a paint booth. I don't have a paint booth, and you almost plan on wet sanding and buffing, which I probably won't do that till the whole truck's together, and we can do that a little bit at a time. I think once it clears or cures, it's going to look better. Now this, from this view, don't look too bad, but I'm happy with it. A few bugs, couple little hairs, pieces of lint, but it was a very humid day. It rained last night. We got 81 degrees, 68% humidity, which the fact that I kept the floor wet brings the humidity up a lot. But I'm happy with it. Could have been a lot worse. There's no runs. And considering, as you can see them rough marks there, I kept bumping into it. Hopefully I can wet sand and buff that out. But I'll live with it. We'll do something with it. Maybe I'll even have to repair it, do a spot repair later. I don't know. I'll touch it up here where the stripe's going to go, but it's not bad for a guy who hasn't actually shot an entire car for probably nearly 20 years. Not to mention it's metallic, which probably isn't the easiest if you're starting over or beginning. I was wondering, there was a few pits. I was wondering how forgiving this is. See, that one showed up. But it doesn't matter because that's going to be behind the bed. If it's in an inconspicuous spot, I like to experiment with what will show up and what won't, as far as mistakes, for further reference, see what I can get away with. But yeah, I'm happy with it. Like I said, there's always room for improvement. We're always going to criticize ourselves so we do better. But it's going to be just fine, especially after I wet sand it and buff it. Considering what it looked like, and the bed liner, looks like I did not get any overspray in there, which I really didn't want. It's a little dirty, but that'll come right out. I could pressure wash the dirt spots you see. That's just from where I had the hose, the garden hose up in there from where I wet sanded. And as you can see, it comes right off. This stuff does not stain, and I like that. I could pressure wash that, and it will look just as good as it did the day I sprayed it. So yeah, we are coming along. The next thing I need to do after this cures for, I could probably start tomorrow afternoon after work. Most likely I've got other things to do. I will probably start wet sanding the rest of it Tuesday. And I don't know if we'll be ready to shoot black by the weekend or not. I'm going to try to stay on it, but I'm also not going to rush anything because we got a lot of sand, a lot of door jambs, which I can't stand sanding. Got some rough primer on top, and I was doing some research. That just I'm off subject, but that reminded me of something. I was doing some research on tips. Now I was trying to find out what tips this the Belvis gun I got. It's a finish line. It's probably not the top of the line. I'm sure I only paid $160 for it. So quality of gun has a lot to do with that too. But I was looking online trying to figure out what tips I had, because these aren't numbered or identified like the ones I'm used to. You got a 1.3, 1.5, 1.8. One thing I did see for primer, the website I was looking at recommended a 1.8, and that might be why my primer is so rough. Which, that ain't too bad. That's just where I spot sprayed it, or that's just where I give it a guide coat. But I do have some rough primer up here. Here, yeah, especially here. And that creates a lot of extra work for wet sanding. So that's something I will try later on. Should not have to spray any more primer, if any at all. It'll be a tiny little spot repair somewhere. But I think I'm done spraying primer on this project. Except for maybe the door hinges. I forgot about those. So yeah, we'll do some experimenting with that. Anyway, I'm blabbing, so there you go. Another video on the 94 Powerstroke. Made a little more progress. So glad to see some actual paint being laid on this thing. And one more thing. You can see some bugs and some dirt stuck to it. And my orange peel. But look at that. Remember how bad that panel was dented? For those of you who watched way back when I had to pull this huge dent out that was shoved on, the whole side was shoved in. That turned out good. As far as being straight, I mean, I can't see nothing at all, except for my dry clear coat. But okay, that's it. Thanks for watching.